was talking to my son today, and he was telling me about the thoughts that cross his mind. And I asked him if he wondered sometimes how could he possibly have thought something so horrible. Not being specific, but we've all had some really horrible thoughts. And I'm sure that we've wondered, how could I think such a thing? If we're paying attention to the thoughts that's crossing our mind. Well, here's the thing. The thoughts that are crossing our mind are not necessarily our thoughts. And I say that because the way that I see it, understand it, and believe it is that there is only one mind, and that is the mind of creation, or God, as some may refer. One mind. And all of these millions of entities, spirits, beings are a part of that one mind. And so the thoughts that are moving constantly like a disco ball. If you ever watch a disco ball, you see the ball constantly turning and the lights constantly reflecting off of that ball. And if you think about the thoughts in the one mind, the ball is the one mind and the lights are the thoughts. And they're constantly moving through the ethers of the universe, moving through all of the beings that are a part of this one mind. So they're not necessarily your thoughts unless you decide to hold on to them. Unless you decide to kidnap that thought and hold it hostage. And how do you decide to do that? Because who would make a decision like that to hold on to a horrible thought? No one would consciously make that decision. But conscious is what we need to talk about. Because consciousness, your level of consciousness, determines the thoughts that garner your attention. In other words, say you're on a consciousness of lack. You're always thinking and saying things that represent lack. I'm broke. I'm struggling. I don't have no money. I can't make no money. Whatever the words may be, they were thoughts in your mind before they became words that came out of your mouth. So if that's the level of consciousness that you're thinking on, then those thoughts that are equal to that, as they're moving through the ethers of the universe, those lights reflecting off of that disco ball, some of those are going to stop when they get to you because they know that they are welcome there. And they know that they are welcome there because there's always already thoughts with that energy resting there. So what is our job to do is to release those thoughts and let them continue on their way. Just because they pass through does not mean that they have to move in. Let them continue on their journey. And the only way that you are going to be able to do that is to change your consciousness, change your way of thinking. Think of those thoughts when you notice them as something that doesn't serve you in a good way and release it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Replace it with something else. For me, when I notice a thought has come that I am not desiring, I use a mantra to send it on its way. I notice it and I immediately say, I am. I am. And for me, saying I am reminds me that I am God. that's going to shock some of y'all, because you don't know that you're God too, but you are. That's what the one mind is. So instead of beating yourself up and struggling with these thoughts that you're having, replace them. Find a mantra, find an affirmation, find a word. It could be love. When you notice that thought, say love, and that pretty much sends it on its way. Because two opposite things can't exist in the same space. You see, it can't be light and dark at the same time. It's either light or it's dark. It can't be on and off at the same time. It's either on or it's off. And you can't be thinking negative and positive at the very same time. You're thinking one or the other. So if you replace that negative thought when it comes, when you notices it, when you replace that right away with a positive, it has no other choice but to move on. And you may have to do this 100,000 times a day because you have more thoughts coming through your mind than even that. So you have to be consciously aware. And see, that word conscious came back again because it's all about consciousness. But I am trying to help you understand that these thoughts that you're having are not yours to keep. Let them go. Let the light continue to flow through you, and those dark shadows are not supposed to stay there, so let them move on with a light word, a light thought, a loving thought. Love yourself enough to let go of those things that are not